Hi, friends, and welcome to Gizbot. I'm Sharmi, and today I'm going to talk about the Xiaomi PatchWall Report for 2021, which discusses the consumer behavior related to entertainment, home entertainment units, especially smart TVs. For the same, I have with me Ashim Mathur, the Senior Regional Director, Japan and Emerging Markets for Dolby Laboratories. I also have with me Sudeep Sahu, the Senior Product Manager for TV category at Xiaomi, and Anisha Mehta, the Partnership and Content Operations at Xiaomi. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the Patchwall Replay Report 2021. So I think we can just start off right with that. So maybe Anisha, I think you can tell us about this report and how it's different. How it's different this year, and what are the differences we can see from the previous year.
Sure. I think before I sort of talk about some key trends that we showcase as part of the Patchwall 2021 replay report, very briefly on why we essentially do the report. So, of course, Patchwall is available on all Xiaomi TVs and Redmi TVs in India, and we have a huge scale, right? We have 7+ million smart TVs, and Patchwall is available on all these TVs. Now, users regularly interact with Patchwall, and the way they interact is a function of all the partnerships that we have with OTT partners, right? Right from Hotstar, Netflix, Prime to even regional key players like Ahas and Next. Now, there's a certain trend that we were seeing when we started understanding these interactions as to what kind of content do people usually like, what's the kind of languages that they're consuming, what is the kind of genre of content that they're interacting with. And that is something that we thought we used to anyway share with OTT partners, which will therefore help them in, let's say, planning, say, what kind of content do they actually want to come out with, or probably understand their audiences better, right? And that was the genesis of why we started doing the pre-play report. This is the second year that we're actually doing the report, and some of the key trends that we showcased, one was that a lot of sports content was consumed in 2021 over and above let's say 2020. There was like 117% increase in sports content consumption, while of course we see that year on year, but this year especially with a lot of key sporting events, whether it's the IPL or whether it's the Olympics, or even let's say other sporting events or sports, let's say hockey, kabaddi, so on and so forth. So I think that was one key trend that we definitely saw. And of course, the fact that India-Pakistan had a World Cup match and Neeraj Chopra won the gold medal, that sort of further led to a huge increase in interactions on Xiaomi TVs and Redmi TVs via Patchwall. In fact, some interesting figures, of course, is that of all the smart TVs that were activated, 70% of people actually watched the Neeraj Chopra final, which is where he actually won the gold medal. So these were some interesting figures that we saw. The other key trend, which was very interesting, was that there's a huge uptake in 4K content consumption. While this is something that has been growing year on year, but two things, right? 4K content consumption and consumption in Dolby Vision content. There were two sort of ways that we look at this. One is, of course, with OTT partners creating more content that has or supports 4K, that's 4K content, and that supports Dolby Vision, right? And secondly, with Patchwall aiding that discoverability. So unlike, let's say platforms, what we actually do is that we have partnerships with all content players, right? So what we do is on the homepage of Patchwall, we create some sort of like a collection or a collection essentially. So it's titled, let's say, Dolby Vision or 4K. So the moment a smart TV user clicks on that, you see 4K or Dolby Vision content across OTT partners on one single page. So for me as a user, I don't have to go out and look at, hey, what content is Dolby Vision or what content is 4K. I give all of that in one place. So that's where Patchwall aids discoverability. And of course, with more and more users, people buying 4K enabled or Dolby Vision supported TVs, there's a huge uptake in the overall increase. And then we saw, especially Dolby Vision content, for example, we saw 1.21 crore clicks. These are 1.21 crore interactions of people with Dolby Vision content, right? And the one other last key trend that we also saw was how PatchWall enabled users to cord cut, right? Because of course, I'm not saying that a lot of people there's a huge section of people that's moving away from, let's say, broadcast TV. However, we are seeing an uptake year on year in terms of people solely using the smart TV and PatchWall to access OTT content and, let's say, live channels, which are anyways part of OTT app subscriptions, right? So I think with us showcasing movie shows and linear channels which are available on these OTT apps and showcasing them right on PatchWall, that has enabled a huge uptake in people, let's say, cutting the cord. So we are seeing a 2x increase this year in time spent on PatchWall. So yeah, these were some key trends that we saw as part of 2021.
Yeah. I think this also brings us to talk about Dolby Vision here. So I think, Ashim sir, can we talk about Dolby Vision and why does it matter so much in India right now?
Sure. So before I answer that, I'll just take a step back and just to give you a context of why content is so important for a great device experience. And that's where Dolby plays a role in the entire, as I said, the content ecosystem, from content creation to distribution to finally playback. And these are three key elements of how this whole flow happens. So as Dolby, we work very closely with all content creators, whether it is in India, in Bollywood, Hollywood, any big studio. So we make sure that we work very closely with the content creators and give them these tools like Dolby Vision, like Dolby Atmos, to actually tell their story better in a very simplified way. I mean, these technologies help them to really put their vision onto the screen, whether it is a cinema screen or the living room screen or on the go screen. And consumers ultimately have these experiences in an uncompromised way. So we start from there and we make sure that we work with the content creators so that the content is enabled in our technologies like Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos. Then we work with, say, OTT services or set-top box players or basically the people who are distributing. Now, in this case, it comes through the OTT service onto the PatchWall itself. So I think that's where we enable that OTT services to make sure that the same content which was created is also kind of taken to the next level. And then finally, we work with device players like Xiaomi to make sure that this content and this actually the devices are enabled with Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos. So it's important for our consumers to click all these three boxes. The content is in this technology, their services enabled to get this to their home, and then finally their device. And when all these three are aligned in a straight line, that's where consumers get the best experience, like they do in the Xiaomi televisions. And that's where these technologies like Dolby Vision, and as Anisha was mentioning, I mean, it's very important to make sure that these contents are easily available for the consumer, because that makes that access or really takes the barrier of access down in that sense. And that's where people can experience this content, really see for themselves that what these technologies are all about and what they've been missing till now in their experiences. Because right now there are so many contents, so many different genres, so many different services which are offering this kind of content, but people have this inertia or lack of awareness that what is it? I mean, but it's when they really switch on their Xiaomi TV and experience it on the PatchWall, that's when the magic happens, and that's when they get to this technology. And talking specifically for Dolby Vision, I mean, it's a visual technology, though a lot of people think Dolby as an audio company, but of course that's what we do. But we also make the Dolby Vision as the best HDR technology available right now, which of course offers you absolutely amazing brightness, sharper contrast, refined details, and colors which have not been seen before on a television set, for example. The images are up to 40 times brighter, 10 times darker. So there are a lot of things. The blacks are really the blacks and the whites are whites, and that's the color gamut which really comes alive on a device like Xiaomi when they have Dolby Vision. So there are a lot of improvements from a pure visual experience which happens, and when this is combined with great audio, that's when you get the powerhouse of entertainment, as we call it, which of course happens on a Xiaomi device. So that's the consumer journey. That's what we try to enable, and that's how we work with our partners.
Can you just elaborate a little more about the Dolby difference that we see on TVs? Like, TVs with Dolby and without Dolby. Can you just talk a little bit about that
So
difference?
to be very honest, I can talk a lot, but the best is when you actually see it and when you actually experience it, especially on a
Yeah.
Xiaomi television. But I think if you actually see the visuals, now let me give you a few examples. For example,
Mm.
the London bus color. Now that was
Mm.
because of the 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 inherent say the television couldn't just replicate those colors at one point in time. But now with Dolby Vision, you really see. And when I was saying the blacks are blacks and the whites are white, what happens in regular televisions, or what was happening earlier, was that just to maintain that color gamut, colors were compressed. Now what Dolby Vision does, it brings it back to the full glory, so you really see the blacks what it should be, and the whites, and whatever the colors come in between. So
Colors.
you see more, you actually see the depth and the detailing. You really see, if it is a kind of a contrast scene, you actually see the brightness and the darkness, the way it should be. And more importantly, at the core of it, it just transports the creator's vision directly onto the screen, the way they really envisioned. And that's what we try to do: bring the fan closer to the artists, and that's what these technologies are helping us to drive.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that answers the question that I had in mind. So I think, okay, let's moving on. I think that my next question is for Sudeep. So we're talking about TVs here, right? So right now the Indian market has a lot of thin and light TVs, but my question is, will TVs only remain as an entertainment unit, or are they going to expand into something more?
All right. Great question. I think we have been. Let me put it in this way. There was a time when or basic internet TVs, let's say 5 years ago, right before we entered the market, TV was supposed to be for just entertainment. There was known as the idiot box, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Where only people used to just consume content, less interaction. Fast forward 5 years, today where we stand, and with great humility, I'm saying that we have kind of pushed the needle of smart TV adoption in the country, right? Back in the day, today 90% of TVs available in the market or sold in the market are actually smart TVs. Now,
Yeah.
if you deep dive into what a smart TV does, it's no longer just about passive content viewing, right? It is also about you interacting with the TV. How is that? It is through your voice assistant. On Xiaomi TVs, of course, you can have Google Assistant through which you can interact, ask TV to play a content. You have works with Alexa. You can also use the Alexa Echo device to control different units. We have also built Mi Home app, which is very, very popular among the Xiaomi folks, because we have a lot of ecosystem products, right? So with the Mi Home app directly from the TV with the same remote, you can actually now go and control your Mi Robo Vacuum Cleaner. Now, it was a Robo Vacuum Cleaner has become a part of my life at home.
Yeah.
Since couple of years we have been like using it. It's and not just that, your air purifier, your smart lights at home, your water purifier. There's a bunch of Mi security camera. I have one back here. All of these can be controlled through your smart TV. And in Xiaomi, we essentially put the Mi Home app. We actually built it from ground up, because on the phone it's very different. You can touch and interact, but on TV it has to be more simpler, easy to understand, as minimal steps, right? On smartphones you can have unlimited length breakup of interaction in the UX level, but in TV it has to be broken down into so simpler so that even my dad or mom can go and use it. So smart TVs today, essentially, if I have to summarize, it's not just about entertainment anymore. You also have so many interaction. It is you talking to the TV literally using a voice assistant, and also controlling a lot of your other ecosystem devices. And in Xiaomi, the way we looked at smart TVs when we were building is not, it's to be the center of your home entertainment. Sure, smartphone is still a very integral part in our ecosystem, but when you pick up this remote, which we call the Mi remote, you should be able to essentially do everything that you can on a phone, but also on the TV medium, on a bigger screen, which has a much more bigger screen. So yeah, that's essentially where Xiaomi and the smart TV ecosystem is today.
Yeah. So, speaking particularly of TVs, I have another question here. So, we've been kind of observing this trend where consumers are just buying non-smart TVs and they're just plugging in this Amazon Fire TV stick or Google TV, and making it into a smart TV rather than just buying expensive Android TVs. So, what do you think about this?
I think Android TV used to be expensive before Xiaomi entered the market. Let me clarify that. Uh,
Yeah.
5 years ago, if you looked at the market, the cheapest Android TV that you could get was a Sony Android TV, which was around 70,000 rupees.
Yeah.
Back then, the 2018 or 2017, when we were doing a research, if you looked at the percentage of number of smart TVs, for every 100 TVs sold, it was just 18. So 18% was the number around which then the smart TV was there. Fast forward today, out of 100 TVs sold, more than 90 are actually smart TVs. So there is a huge change that has happened. More and more people are actually buying more smart TVs than you might think otherwise. Maybe 5 years ago that was the case. That's because maybe the smart TVs were not that affordable, or let's say not approachable. When we entered the market, we just crossed our fourth year anniversary on Feb 14th, yesterday. When we first launched the TV, it created a dent in the market. We launched the world's thinnest LED TV, the Mi LED TV 55-inch, which was just 4.9 mm thin. It's thinner than your phone, at just 39,999. And then we launched the HD Full HD version. And fast forward today, we have launched over 30 smart TVs, and we hope that we have pushed the whole ecosystem towards it. So it's not today. The smart TVs are actually more and more affordable, and I think with Xiaomi and Redmi, now we have two lineups. We have two brands. We are trying to push and make more on premium sort of technology, also available in the entry level series, which we can touch on later.
So Dolby technology is available like almost on a lot of gadgets now. It's on smartphones, tablets, and television and all that. So my question is like how, it's okay. So where does Dolby see in the future?
The future is, I think there are a couple of things. One, I would say, even though this is a device conversation, but I think device, the most important thing is content. So I think from our perspective, especially in India, there are a lot of original content. There are a lot of movies. Of course, India produces the largest amount of content globally. So I think our endeavor is going to be to make sure that we really get more and more content, more and more regional content, more and more content, whether it is movies or music or games or any kind of content which consumers actually use these devices for. So our endeavor is to make sure there is enough and more content in different genres, different parts of the country, which is available in Dolby Atmos and Dolby Vision. So I think that's going to be one big focus area for us as we move forward. And similarly, on the device side, we make sure, right now, our endeavor is to democratize this technology and this experience as to far and wide. Right now, it might be in few TVs or few screen sizes, whatever it may be. But how can we really expand and go more deep with our partners like Xiaomi, for example, and even others? So I think how can we go more deep and more wide and make sure that this experience is available? Consumers definitely are now slowly taking a note of these new technologies and really figuring out what they've been missing out. In fact, there was a study which came out a couple of years, or maybe last year, from Wakefield, which said 96% people were really willing to upgrade their entertainment devices to get this new experience. So people are really looking forward to this. And once you get to this kind of an experience, it's impossible to go back to what you have been exposed to earlier. So that way, our endeavor is to make sure that we really get more and more content in our technologies, and of course, more and more devices. We work closely with partners like Xiaomi and really take this far and wide. So I think that's going to be we'll be focused on.
Okay, so the PatchWall report also talks about TV penetration in India. So I wanted to know more about how network providers in the country have continuously been reducing the price of data. And this again helps in bringing TV connectivity to grassroots levels. So I think Anisha can answer this. So what's your opinion about this? Like, data prices are reducing and that's kind of pushing in TV penetration to grassroots levels. What do you think about this?
I think one is, of course, especially after the Geo phenomena a few years ago.
Yes.
I think one that has helped, like Sudeep said, right? One is that all this has aided in smart TVs essentially being accessible, like we said, where the penetration has increased from 18% to 90%. So that's one, of course, and especially with Jio, I think considering data is more affordable, I think that like we've shared in the report, right? There's a whole increase in time spent overall. And this is something that we have seen year on year. Like this year, we saw a 2x increase in time spent with more and more people streaming content on their smart TVs, right? So I think that is something that we have seen, which is a function of course, like you said, it being affordable, right? And specifically around, you mentioned something around grassroots, right? Now, I think what has also helped is that with more and more people accessing content via their smart TVs, it has also given rise to a lot of other interesting trends that we saw specifically in 2021, because you have more and more people, not just from metro cities, but from tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities consuming content. So there's a twofold effect here, right? One, that there's a whole rise in with people launching OTT apps that are specifically catered to specific languages, which is of course, you had your big OTTs like Sunnext, which have been in the market for a while, but then you also have OTTs like AHA or even Hoichoi, which specifically caters to Bengali content, right? And now with more and more of these OTT partners offering content in Dolby Vision and 4K, that has led to a huge uptake in content consumption for these specific technologies. And the other key trend that we also saw this year, which was very interesting for us as well, is that this in 2021, 39% of homes that Hindi speaking homes rather watched non-Hindi speaking content, which is like more and more people are consuming content which is not in their native language. So I think all of this, right, the entire affordability of internet, the accessibility that we are trying to solve through by providing smart TVs at a very affordable price, and content consumption and Patchwall has aided people consuming a lot of variety of content, right? Some of the top languages that we saw, like Malayalam, Telugu, Kannada, Bengali, Marathi. So I think all this has led to a huge entire new trend or sort of wave of content consumption via Patchwall.
So what new products can we expect from Xiaomi this year?
I wish you can get an answer for that. But let me just tell you what we have sort of done till now. So it's a very uncanny number that we found is where smart TV was in 2017, 2018. The 4K adoption in India is where we are today. It's very uncanny. The number is approximately the same, around 18%. What we have been doing? Well, we have been actually working on this for a very long time. From 2018 till 2022, we have launched over 14 4K smart TVs. And if you look at today, what we do, we have nine models ranging from the Redmi all over the Xiaomi. So we have the Redmi X series, we have 4 sizes. We have the Xiaomi TV 5X series where we have 3 sizes. We also have the QLED series where we have 2 sizes. All of these are sort of driving for the next opportunity that we have or that we see in the market is more, and like Ashim said, right? The content players are making more and more content. They are providing those tools, enabling them to make those best of content, the best of picture and the best of audio technologies out there. We are bringing those technologies onto our TV so that more and more people can consume. And the 1.21 crore number is just going to increase, what Anisha mentioned earlier. And what we think is being market leader, it's our also sort of like mission, and we have the responsibility also to push this envelope right now from a 4K adoption. So hopefully in 4 or 5 years time when we meet again, these numbers will be much higher. So yeah, that's how we are planning. And to give you another data point, let's say from an audio technology perspective, we started putting a lot of this premium. We trickle down a lot of premium technologies from your Xiaomi lineup to the Redmi lineup, right? Redmi X series is a case in point. Like I said, Dolby Vision was sort of like trickled down from the high-end series to the low-end series. And if you look at the audio side of things, if you look at the Dolby audio, all our HD, Full HD, and 4K lineup had Dolby audio. And starting with the Xiaomi TV 5X, we have also started putting Dolby Atmos, which is the most premium sort of technology in audio, which kind of creates or encompasses you with a virtual surround sound system, even with a 2-speaker, right? That's the beauty of this technology. You don't need dedicated channels. Even with just 2 dedicated, it can equalize and it can create that environment or a sort of dome-like structure with our TVs. And Xiaomi TV 5X is the first TV that we launched last year with Dolby Atmos. So yeah, these are some of the technologies what Xiaomi has been doing to drive or push the boundaries with, again, 2 lineups, the Xiaomi and the Redmi lineup, with various audio and video technologies.
Yeah. So my last question is to Ashim sir. Similar question. So what is the future hold for Dolby technology in India?
Yeah, so as I said, I think so other than the living room devices which we are working with, say brands like Xiaomi, and making sure, as Sudeep was saying, not just have Dolby Vision but also have Dolby Atmos, because as a combination, when you have the best audio and the best visual, that's where you get the best living room experience. And we are going to make sure that we work with all our OEM partners to have as many devices, and not just in the bigger screen sizes, but also have it available in different price points, different screen sizes, different permutations, so that we really are able to democratize this experience and reach it and take it to more audiences and more people. In fact, one of the recent studies which was done by Counterpoint, which came out a few months back, it really clearly alluded to the fact that people are really looking forward to these experiences. And when they're buying their new television device, for example, or even their smartphones, they are actually looking for technologies like Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos. So there is good level of awareness. People are now getting used to these technologies. And I was saying earlier, it's very difficult to go back. So I think that's what endeavor is going to be, to make sure that we work with our partners and get more and more devices enabled with these technologies, have it at different price points, and different varieties of TV sets which are available. So yeah, I think we are going to be laser sharp focused on that, and working with our great partners like Xiaomi to get more and more devices for our consumers.
So that's our detailed discussion about the PatchWall report for 2021. As you can see, this is the changing consumer behavior in India, and we can expect more such changes to come forward this year. If you like this video, please like and share and subscribe to our Gizbot channel. Stay tuned for more. You can also click on gizbot.com for more such content. Thank you.